This is Ambie from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about all the games that I played in January. So in January, I had 49 plays of 31 different games. That averages a game per day. So I found out like in January 9th or something that I had played 9 different games, and so I was on track to average a game per day. So I tried to do that, which is why there are a lot of children's games on my list this month because my kids wanted to play a lot of games with me, which is exciting. But also some like shorter games and a lot of escape room type one-time play games that I wanted to do so that I could also do the 31 games in January. But also for the first time in January, one of my kids was my most played gaming partner. Like he had the most plays with me. He had 26 plays with me. And then the second most was 16 plays, which was my other kid and my husband both had 16 plays. So lots of children's games to go over this month. But I think I'll actually save the children's games for the end. I'm going to talk about the games I didn't play with my kids first and then all the children's games together at the end. Alright, so first I played Cantaloop Breaking into Prison 2 times. This is actually just like one whole story, so I completed my play that I had started last month. But this is a point-and-click adventure game in a book and that I had started on stream and I continued on stream but then finished off stream. So like I did 3 different sitting sessions and maybe some other ones in between total. So I logged separate play sessions because they were different days. And it's kind of one of those weird things, like how do you log the plays with that? But anyways, I liked Cantaloop a lot. It's a point-and-click video game adventure, but in a book. And if you like point-and-click adventures and you like reading books and stuff, because it has a lot of like passages that you read, but also graphics that you're looking through and you're combining items with cards and stuff, that it's really fun if you like that type of game. And Toby and I played through Unlock Mythic Adventures twice. So Unlock Mythic Adventures is a 3-in-1 escape room game. Unlock is an escape room series made of cards and an app, a companion app that you have. So we had played the first one in the box set a while ago, and then we played the other 2 this month. And I don't actually remember. I think we liked the third one the best. It had some cool things with the app and the theme I liked, but the second one was still decent, I think. I don't actually remember much, but I like the Unlock games. All right, our go-to party game, Cross Clues, we only played twice. So I think we actually canceled a few of the weekday game nights, so I didn't have as many games with adults this month. So only 2 plays of Cross Clues, but that's still one of my favorite word party games. It's a real-time cooperative word party game where you're giving clues and guessing clues at the same time, and you're trying to give clues in there's a grid of words and you're trying to give clues to point to the intersection, the cross clue. All right, then I have a few escape room type games in a row. Lots of one-time plays. So I played the Emerald Flame. I started that. So Emerald Flame is an escape room type game. It's got like a lot of physical components that are really nice. The game has 3 different parts, so 3 different envelopes. I did the first envelope so far. It doesn't use the internet except for entering in clues. So I like escape room games that are like physical and you're actually doing it without the internet. And Emerald Flame is like really good at that. It had a lot of different types of puzzles and like different steps to each puzzle. So lots of like aha moments. So I really, really enjoyed it. And there's 2 more parts, so I'm excited to do more of it. Then I streamed Exit the Game plus Puzzle Nightfall Manor. So Exit the Game is a series of escape rooms where you actually like cut and fold things. But they have a new line of jigsaw puzzle escape room games. So it's like an Exit the game, but with jigsaw puzzles. So it had 4 jigsaw puzzles in it that show like images, and then you also have the regular escape room type puzzles in there. I really liked this one. I've done 2 of the other exit puzzle games, and I like this one the best. It also was the one that like I completed the best, the quickest. So I liked the theme. It was kind of like Halloween themed, and then also the puzzles themselves had multiple colors in them, so they were like doable. So like on one of the other ones, the puzzles were all very dark, so it was like hard to do and hard to see things. But this one, like all the puzzles worked well. The jigsaw puzzles were good, and like the escape room puzzles. I have to differentiate, clarify which ones I'm talking about now. And then Hunt a Killer Body on the Boardwalk, which Crystal and I both talked about on the podcast recently. But this is a murder mystery type game, so it's not an escape room. It's not timed or anything. It's a murder mystery. So you have a bunch of files that you're looking through, like photographs and like receipts and stuff that look kind of realistic, but you're trying to solve a murder. And there was no internet in this one either, other than hints. I like that. It had physical things to look at and then also some codes to crack, and then you find more objects and then you solve the murder. I enjoy murder mystery stuff. I don't like them as much as escape rooms because murder mystery usually has fewer puzzles and more story murder mystery part. But this one has a little combination because it has a little bit of puzzle in opening this locked box. So I like the Hunter-Killer series. This is the second I've done in the Hunter-Killer series. Oh, and the Hunter-Killer, that was a review copy that I had received. Then I played a partial play of Weather Machine. So this is the first heavy Euro game that I've learned and played since having kids, I think. So new to me. This is by Vital Lacerda. I've heard of him. He makes a lot of heavy thematic games. So there's like lots of mechanisms going on, but Weather Machine, I think the theme is something about like there's a scientist who made a weather machine, and then you're trying to like fix the weather that he made, and you're also trying to like help the weather machine or something. It messes up other weather somewhere else and stuff. So there's a lot of things that you're doing, but usually with Lacerda games, like other games that I have of his, Kanban and the Gallerist, like I feel the theme very strongly in the mechanics, but in this game I didn't feel the theme very strongly, which is why it was hard for me to describe the theme. So I enjoyed it, and it was fun like playing a heavy game again, but it just kind of made me want to play Kanban. It had some like mechanics that I recognized from some of his other games, but like I want to be excited about the theme and like playing it and feeling the theme. So I enjoyed my play, but it's probably one of my least favorite of his games. I played one play of Connected Clues, which was another review copy we had gotten a while ago, but it's a party game where you're just connecting words together. We usually don't like care about the score that much. You get scores, but like one person is giving a clue for 2-part phrase. So like fast food and food fight come together to be fast food fight. And you give a clue for the first part and the second part, and then everyone's guessing, and whoever guesses first gets the card. So it's just fun. Like, we would start doing it where we're like giving very vague clues because it's fun, because otherwise everyone just gets it. But then it takes them some time to figure it out, and they're thinking, and then some people try to guess. It's fun to guess when you only have the clue for the first part and you're guessing like what would they have combined with it to make the word. It's just a fun, quick party game. I played Everdell. So this was at the beginning of the month, my first time playing Everdell. So Everdell is a like worker placement and card management game. There's a lot of cards that you're playing down, you're gathering resources to play the cards, and then the cards give you stuff. And then it kind of like builds up on itself. So like each round you still have your cards down, and then you get more stuff and more stuff. The card play was kind of reminiscent of Imperial Settlers, but then like the worker placement didn't seem to add much to it for me. I thought it was okay, but like nothing super great, but I did really like the component quality. Like it had little cute animal meeple things and very cute resources and stuff. So I liked that. Although the card text was really small. So there's like these gold cards in the middle of the table that you're going for, and you kind of can't read them from where you're sitting. But yeah, so that was Everdell. I thought it was fine. A lot of people really like it though, so. We played Ready, Set, Bet once, which I talked about last month. Horse betting racing game that I really enjoy because it's real-time horse betting and someone's rolling the dice or an app is rolling the dice. This time I got to roll the dice, so I was the house and I make bets beforehand, which none of them happened. But I got to roll the dice and like announce the horses coming out, and the different horses are going, and then people are betting on them. And then I get to like say, oh, no one's betting on this one, but look, they're coming up from behind and stuff. I need to work on my horse announcing voice, but it was fun. I played Tournament at Avalon. This was a newbie game. This is a card game, trick-taking card game, but it has like a lot of special cards that add a lot of special powers and stuff. And you're trying not to take tricks because then you like lose health. So it's themed around Camelot stuff. So each player has a special power, and then if you win the hand, then you lose points because you're losing health or something. So I didn't particularly like it. I played a lot of trick-taking games when I grew up, like a lot of those card games, and then so I got kind of tired of them. And then this one had a lot of extra luck added in with all the extra cards and special powers and stuff. I don't know if it's also we played at a high player count. I'm not sure what the player count is supposed to be. I think we played at like 6 players. Yeah, but I didn't enjoy it that much. I thought it had too much luck for a trick-taking game that I want to play. Another party game we played was Word Slam, which we hadn't played in a while, I think. But Word Slam is a team party game where you're guessing things, kind of like a Pictionary or charades type game. In this one, you're guessing words, but you're giving clues by putting little word cards on a tray. So you have these word cards that have different things, like there's a stack of noun cards, a stack of adjectives, a stack of verbs, but then you're like conveying the concept, putting those cards onto the tray, and then your teammates are like looking at that and trying to guess. I like those team guessing games. I love Pictionary and charades. Like I grew up playing that a lot. And so Word Slam is just another twist on that. We also played another game of Mysterium Park, which I talked about last month. It's basically Mysterium if you play that, but in a carnival. A lot of very similar cards that you're trying to guess. It's cooperative. One person is trying to get people to guess image cards by giving them these weird image cards that like point to it. You're giving clues via weird image cards to try to get them to guess the person image or the location image. We have not won so far. We've played 3 times. So it's pretty hard, I think. The images are all really weird. A lot of them are very similar, so it's hard to differentiate between them. It's like, oh, they're totally pointing to this image because they played this card that looks a lot like this image, but like, no, they meant to play, like the card that they played was pointing to another image because there was like this other part of the card that looks like that image. So yeah, I want to play more. Hopefully sometime we'll win. I played Sleuth, which I hadn't played in a long time. This I also talked about on the podcast, but Sleuth is a deduction game, kind of like Clue, but with just cards. So there's a deck of cards that are different gems. There's 1, 2, or 3 of each type of gem in different colors and different types. And so one of the cards is put away, and that's what you're trying to guess. In each turn, there's another deck of cards that say what types of questions you can ask someone else. So you ask someone one of the cards that you have in your hand, and then they answer. And so you're just writing down deductions. I love deduction games, and this is a very simple one, very similar to Clue, but without a board and without the dice. Instead, you have the cards that you can ask questions. So I like Sleuth a lot, just not at too high of a player count. I played 1 play of Tiny Turbo Cars. This was a review copy. I need to play it again because we kind of played by the incorrect rules, but this is a racing game, but you have like a slide puzzle, one of those like, you know, those 15 square slide puzzles. So you do that to program the movement of your race car. It only uses the 2 middle rows. You're doing that real time, and whoever does it slowest, I think, gets hurt. But then you like go through the racetrack. You're trying to get to the finish first, but it's like programming with the slide puzzle. So the slide puzzle itself didn't work that well. Like I like slide puzzles, but then like this one, like the kimonos weren't great for moving around the slide puzzle. But we did play wrong. We were supposed to mix it up each time and like hand it to the next person, but we didn't do that. So like it ended up there's one person that kept like finishing really fast because he kept doing the same moves over and over, but we were supposed to mix it up each time. So we'll need to play again and actually do some of the slide puzzle part because we didn't get to do much of the slide puzzle. Another cooperative party game we played was Just One, another cooperative word party game. So this is a party game where each turn someone has a word and then they're trying to guess it based on everyone else giving a clue of just one word. And if 2 people's clues overlap, then they don't show it. So you give clues that are close, like that are trying to point to the word, but not too obvious because someone else might give the same clue and then, you know, they won't get it. So it's kind of hard sometimes to guess if people give too obscure clues or if like the clues get canceled out. I love the word party games. My group really loves word party games, so this is another fun one. All right, and I played 1 play of Pocketbook Adventures. This is a pocket solo role-playing type game, a kind of puzzly one that you're using a pencil and just paper to do. So like you're moving around on the grid, trying to defeat all the monsters and collect different things. But instead of like rolling dice to defeat monsters, you like close your eyes and then try to hit a bullseye with a pencil. So I've gotten really good at it. I was hitting a lot of bullseyes. I don't know, it feels like I'm cheating because I'm able to get everything without getting too hurt. But it's like I've just gotten better at the game just because I've practiced a lot. That's kind of exciting that you can actually get better at the game, get better at defeating the monsters by practicing. And that was it for the games with adults, or by myself. Most of them, I guess, were by myself. But let's move on to the games I played with my kids. Yay! And if you've noticed, I put up some new art on the wall. This is kind of temporary. I might be switching this out. But yeah, if you like the new art, give the video a like. Oh, if you like this video too, you can give the video a like. But on to the games I played with my kids. All right. So first with 6 plays is My First Adventure, Finding the Dragon. This is a book, so it's basically bedtime stories and reading it to them when they want to be read to. It's a role-playing game, kind of like choose your own adventure book, with different things they can choose and they get to point or like say, actually now they know, like before I start reading the book, they're just like, oh, I want to do this. And they've been getting better at it. They're like getting the good endings each time because they get items and then they know they can use the items here. They're like, oh, I want to go here because we have this. And they kind of have all of the options kind of memorized now. So we've played it so much. Our book is falling apart. But My First Adventure, Finding the Dragon is a great intro role-playing game, choose your own adventure book for toddlers. Then I played Click Clack Lumberjack 4 times. So this is a dexterity game, which I didn't expect my kids to actually be able to play. There's this plastic tree made up of like cylinders of tree trunks and bark around it, and you're trying to knock just the bark pieces off and not like the core. And so you had to tap it lightly with this axe. when I've played with other kids before, they like knock the whole thing over on their first tap. They just like knock it over. But my kids have played with the components for over a year now, I think. They like playing with the components and they've done a lot of stuff, but like they hadn't played the game. But recently they've gotten really good at setting it up. And then they started like hitting it and they're like, oh, we want to play. And they were able to hit it a few times, and actually each of them won one game because I kept knocking over the whole thing, and you get negative points if you knock over the middle parts. But yeah, I was really impressed that they could play that, because that's a dexterity game that until now I've only played with adults, really. So it was exciting to play with my kids. We played 3 games of Disney's It's a Small World game. This is a memory/matching game. There's a cooperative and competitive mode, but we played just the cooperative mode. It's based on the It's a Small World ride at Disneyland, so that's like what the art looks like. You're going through this board, you have a little boat going through the different spaces, and you're looking at like all the different areas of Small World. It has like the pictures of the little people and stuff. You get these cards that match the pictures, and so you're looking for the person and trying to match it. Basically, before time runs out, if you get a card with a sun on it, then time advances 1 space. I don't think we've lost this game yet. I guess it's pretty easy on cooperative mode, but they really like doing the matches, and there's a lot of different types of people like doing different things, and there's animals and stuff too, so they like looking at the different things, lots of colors. So it's a great game for kids for finding matching and then also like pointing out different details in the art. I also had 3 plays of the Color Monster, which is a board game about emotions. So this is another cooperative board game. You are a color monster who has like different colors that represent their emotions. So this is based on a book. I guess all the emotions got jumbled up, and then there's a little girl that's helping figure out the emotions. So you're trying to like figure out the emotions and put them into jars. So my kids had played a little bit a couple months ago or last month, but they've gotten better at playing now. Get better at saying what the emotions are. So when you land on a space, the emotions are like happy, sad, fear, calm, and anger, I think. So when you land on a space, you say like, oh, so this is something that makes me happy, or like something that makes you sad. You say like what makes you that emotion, and then you can put the emotion and try to find the bottle. There's a memory part, and you're trying to find like the matching color bottle. So my kids have gotten better at knowing the emotions and stuff, and talking about what things can make them happy or sad. So that's exciting. I had a couple plays of Go Away Monster. This game is one of my favorite children's games. In the game, you're reaching into a bag and pulling out pieces that go into your bed. Your bedroom board has like different shapes that you're like trying to match up. And if you pull out a monster piece, you say, "Go away, monster," and you throw it away. My kids like keeping some of the monsters, and they like getting specific pieces for the bed. And we play cooperatively, so like if you draw out a piece that you already have, you can give it to someone else. Or when my kids play now, if they draw out a piece that they don't want because they want a specific piece, and they give it to someone else. And like if they draw out a piece that they know the other one wants, then they give it to them. So it's just like all cooperative trading. We also played a couple games of First Orchard. So this is a game that my kids like didn't play that much before, but a lot of other kids love this game. And then my kids started playing it more recently and liking it, so that's exciting. First Orchard is a game where you're collecting fruit and putting it into a basket. So there's 4 different colors of fruit, and on your turn you roll a die, and whatever color it matches, you get to put that in the basket. But the die has a wild side that you can pick which color fruit you want. So I always pick the color fruit that has the most left, but my kid picks like his favorite color or something. There's also a side of the die that has a raven, and if that moves the raven up, and if the raven gets to the end of the track, then you lose. So I still don't think my kids really understand the concept of losing or winning. Whenever they finish a game, they're like, yay, we won! Even if it was a competitive game and they lost. But it's still a lot of fun for them to match the colors and put them in the basket. And they like moving the raven too. I think they don't like moving the raven as much as other kids I've played with like moving the raven. Like other kids call it the bird game and stuff. But one of my toddlers really likes colors and colorful things, so he likes all the fruit. Another toddler game we played was Building Site, which is a matching/memory game where you're building a house. So in the game, there's face down cone tiles that you're flipping over and trying to match to like this building site board that you have. You start with the 2 gray ones that you're trying to find, and once you find the 2 gray ones, then you can get the gray concrete slab, which is a metal block, and then put it in the building house. And then you get the 2 orange ones, and then you can put the orange block. And so like at the end of the game, you have a whole house built. And it's really fun toy factor if your kid likes construction and dump trucks, because it has a little toy dump truck. And my kid loves dump trucks. So yeah, he likes that. But then we actually played by the rules too. I kind of like had to remind him like, oh, we have to just do these ones first, because he likes just like matching everything and then building the house. But I had to kind of help him along to make him play by the rules for this game. Another dexterity game that my kid played, and I was very surprised he could, was Hammer Time. So Hammer Time is a dexterity game where you have gems on the back of the box and you're hitting it with a hammer, trying to get 9 or fewer, or I think less than 9 gems to fall off, and then put them onto your minecart cards that match the colors up, and you're trying to finish all your cards first. So first they were just playing with the box components a lot. They had played with the components a lot. They liked the hammer and the gems and knocking them off. But then a couple weeks ago I started with one of my kids. He was knocking some off, and then I started like just taking turns knocking them off and then counting how many gems fell off, because that's the first part of the game, counting how many gems, and if it's under 9, then you can take them. So then he was doing really well at that, and he was like knocking it lightly enough to not knock off all the gems. And so then I tried bringing in the matching, the actual cards in the gameplay, and so he likes matching colors and stuff, so he was able to do that. I won pretty easily, but both of my kids were able to play, and they got, I think, one of their 4 cards filled before I won. So that was really exciting. Another dexterity game is Animal Upon Animal. So that's a stacking game. You have these animals and you roll a die, and it tells you like different rules for stacking. You will stack 1 animal, 2 animals or something on this crocodile in the middle, and you're trying to get rid of all of your animals. If you knock over the pile, then you have to take 2 animals back. This one's a lot harder because as the tower gets taller, adults are pretty good at that, but toddlers, not so much. They'll knock it over. So my toddler ended up knocking it over a couple times, but he did manage to stack a few animals on top of the tower. So that was neat. We also played Happy Bunny, which is a roll and move game where you're a bunny trying to collect carrots. So basically on your turn, you're rolling a die and then moving to the next colored space that matches that die. And then the space has a number on there, and you pull out that many carrots from the box, which has a lot of slots, and like all these carrots are put in there. And the carrots have different lengths, and they either have a bite mark or not. And at the end of the game, you want more bite mark carrots than non-bite mark, because the bite mark ones are the ones that the bunny ate, and the non-bite mark ones are the ones the farmer has. We lost, I think. This was actually hard for my kids to play because they're not great at knowing which direction to go on the roll and move, because it's just like a winding track kind of. So sometimes they go backwards. So we have to like help them along, play like, oh, you have to go this way to the next color. But they love pulling out the carrots. We also played Tidy Up, which is a game with little cardboard pieces that are your toys. And then the box itself is a little bookshelf with slots in it. And so you're putting your cardboard toys into the different slots of the toy shelf and organizing them by type of toy. So like the stuffies on the bottom, the cars in the middle, and the blocks on the top. It's pretty simple and quick, but my kids love this. They loved the organizing and putting things into slots. So they've played this game a lot, and sometimes even solo, which I haven't logged all of their solo plays because sometimes they just play it so quickly I don't even notice they played it. But this time I think we played together, so I was able to catch that they played it. Also played Here Fishy Fishy, which is a game where you're fishing. So it has a magnetic fishing pole and then magnetic wooden fish that are different colors. So on your turn you roll a die and then you try to catch that colored fish. There's one that's a white fish or a glittery fish, and that one you get to pick any color, I think, after you catch it. But like when you catch a color, you have a punch board with like the different color pieces, and you fill that piece into your board. So you're matching the colors after you get that color of fish. So there's some dexterity in catching the fish, and that part's fun, but then also like putting the piece into the board, which my kids really love. Like just on a regular game, they love putting the pieces back into the punch board. In some of our games, we've kept the punch board just for them to put pieces back in. So this basically is that in the game as well. So that's a fun game. We also played Hungry as a Bear, which is another game of putting cardboard into slots. You're feeding a bear, so on your turn you roll a die and it tells you the food that you want to feed the bear, and so you take that and put it on a spoon, the cardboard spoon, and then like put it into the bear's mouth. So my kids like that. They love the food and they like feeding the bear too. And then the last children's game on the list is Teddy's Colors and Shapes, which is another puzzle type game. You're putting shapes and colors, colorful shapes into these punch boards. So they have like a triangle hole or a square hole, and then you're matching up the triangle or square, the colors. So there's a color mode and a shape mode, 2 different dice. So the color mode has colors on the die and the shape mode has shapes on the die, and you roll, and then that color or shape is what you have to pick and put into the slot. And so it's just matching and putting it in. It's pretty simple, and I think it's really easy for my kids now, but they still like it. I was trying to see if they wanted to get rid of any of the games because we have a lot of games, and they're kind of, I think they're like a little too old for some of them, maybe. Well, like, because we have just so many other games, but they say they still like this game, and then they went and played Teddy's Colors and Shapes just to prove that they still like it. And they do still like it, even though I think it's pretty simple. Maybe sometime we'll be able to cull some games and make room for more, because we already have mini shelves full of children's games and they're overflowing, and I keep wanting to get more. So, all right, so I think I talked about all the games I played in January. It was slightly different order. I skipped around because of the children's games thing, so hopefully I didn't miss any of them. Let me know in the comments below what games you played in January and what were your favorites. And since I talked about a lot of kids' games in this one, you can talk about children's games too in the comments below. If you have any recommendations for more, or like what your favorite children's games are. I don't need any more, but I'm always on the lookout for more. And as always, if you aren't already, please subscribe if you want more videos like this one, or like other ones like this one here that you can watch right now. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye.